Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Ran. In this channel, I share knowledge and practical techniques on trauma healing and mental health conditions like eating disorder, bipolar disorder, depression, and anxiety. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about people pleasing still. I'm gonna share a couple of practices that helped me when I started out as a beginner to overcome people pleasing, as I awoke from the painful truth that I have been a people pleaser for many years to a point that I barely recognize myself. So that's the point I decided I wanted to change. So I started out with those exercises because they are simple and easy to get hands on. They're gonna be extremely useful to set boundaries, to define themselves clearly, and also to stop those people pleasing behaviors. So let's get started. Those exercises are pretty fun to explore with yourself. You can even twist a bit and expand a bit and curate your own list in a way that best suits you. The first exercise is to delay responding to a favor or a request. One thing we often do is that we agree to a favor way too soon. It's like we don't want others to worry that we're gonna say no. So we just say yes, of course, I would do that, before thinking it through. And then we feel bitter because we feel like we should have said no. We hate ourselves for saying yes too soon. We hate ourselves, and also we hold grudges against others because we're not really wanting to do it from our heart. So when others feel like, well, you agreed to this, so you must be okay. So they might add like specific requests, and they may push for deadlines for stuff. But then you feel like, well, I'm doing you a favor, and so stop pushing me and stop requesting me, and you try to just be passive aggressive, and you can just avoid interactions with them because deep down you feel bitter and you feel resentment, both for yourself and for others. So for this, I really want you to take time before answering to your request, before saying yes to a favor, thinking it through. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to the relationship? What does it mean to the other person? For example, I used to have a friend. She hasn't been keeping in touch with me, and she hasn't reached out. We haven't been connecting for a while. She always jumping like last minute and tell me to do something for her. So the last time I was having a weekend, and she jumped in and said, well, can you do this for me? Because I really need to do this by Monday, and it'd be great if you got some time out for the weekend and help me do this. And I was just pissed. And I decided, well, I'm not gonna be this people pleaser anymore. I don't wanna be nice, because like, especially it's not reciprocal. You are not doing nice things for me, and you're just reaching out to ask favors and not even showing gratitude and just take me for granted. So last time I didn't respond at all. Like, I just ignored her text because I thought it through. I felt like the consequences that I'm gonna lose her as a connection, as a friend. But what's there to be sad for? Because she clearly didn't treat me as a good friend. She only sees me as someone to take advantage of. After I did this, I feel so good. I feel so good because that's the first time I feel I don't have to live like to please anyone. I could be on my own terms and decide what relationship is good for me, and I get to choose and pick and be the owner of my life. Just try this, you will feel so good. Because I'm not saying like just rejecting anyone, but really take time to think it through, because when you agree to something, you want to be absolutely sure about it so that you don't feel bitter, you don't feel like you don't hold grudges against the other person. Like, you be happily doing it for others. If you don't want to reject it directly, you may say, well, let me think through and get back to you. And then after you think it through, tell them the reason that you cannot be doing this for them, and hopefully that they could understand. Second one is to refuse to laugh at a joke that's not funny to you. Often crowd people pleasers are the sweetest, who are always attentive to other people's needs and also catch the nuances in the air. When people seem to be unhappy, and you just try to just jump in and cheer people up because you feel like you're responsible for somehow like others' emotions and needs. So one thing I often personally do is that whenever there's a joke, everybody's laughing, and even though I don't get it, and I would just pretend like, well, haha, this is really funny and that's a good one. Once in a while, it's fine. But if you overdo this, you will notice this pattern because you are trying to appear as agreeing so that you don't cause trouble. and also you don't alienate anyone out there because you feel personally responsible for them, for their emotions and their needs. Just try next time, maybe in a group of people that you're familiar with, for example the coworkers that you see every day. Next time when they tell a joke, instead of just playing along, instead of agreeing on everything that they said, just state your honest opinion. I don't quite get this joke. What's funny about it? Can you repeat that? Can you clarify that for me? Just try to let them know that you are not on the same page. And also, when you do this, you will find out that others are fine if you are not on the same page with them. Don't be scared of being different. Don't be scared of not fitting in, because we are all different. And that's what makes this fun, and that's what makes this world interesting. If we all look the same, that's miserable. If we all look the same, the world is such a boring place. Just try to imagine that. And third one is when assuming it's your fault when someone's upset or angry or distant. Do reality check. I think one thing people pleasers suffer the most is that they assume that when others are upset, they instantly take the blame for that. When you see them unhappy or distant, you will automatically assume it's your fault. And then you get in this loop of, well, it's my fault that I got them so upset. Maybe I'm so annoying. Maybe I'm such a bad person. And maybe that's why they don't like me. And I need to work harder to win their approval. I need to work harder to make them happy, to cheer them up. For example, next time when you show up at work, when somebody sitting next to you put on their headphones, instead of assuming that you're being annoying to them, that they're trying to avoid you, maybe take some time to do reality check. Maybe sometime later, during lunch, ask in a very nice and gentle way, well, how are you today? How are you feeling today? Well, you seem a little bit upset. If there is something particularly that's upsetting you, did something happen? Are you alright? You will always be surprised at how others respond. There's very little chance that it has something to do with you. Just try to put yourself on the shoes. There could be a million reasons why someone is upset. For example, we get upset when we are late for work. We get upset when we get stepped on wearing our brand new white shoes. We get upset when it rains. We get upset when the weather isn't nice. So we can be distracted and we can get upset by a lot of things, even if it's about you. Just sit with them and ask in a modest way, saying that, well, is there anything that I can improve to improve my work performance? Is there anything particular on what I said that bothered you? Also, don't take blame for everything that they said is your fault, because you need to really decide, well, they threw this at you, and you need to distinguish what's yours to take and what's theirs responsibility. And the fourth one is delayed nodding and saying words like, right, exactly, I agree, in conversations. One thing I often do, and also I found extremely disturbing when someone else does this to me, is that when there's an ongoing conversation and I just kept nodding my head yeah, right, exactly, precisely, you're absolutely right. So the conversation goes you're just agreeing on them 100%, even though you're not actually agreeing. You are trying to appear as agreeing so that the others know that you are being on board 100%. That's not healthy, because mostly we are not really actively listening. We're just concerned and preoccupied with the thought that we need to agree. So when this happens, we are actually emotionally unavailable for the other person, because we are actually withdrawn from their real conversations. We're focused on our need to appear as agreeing, to appear as a good person, so that they could be pleased. At first, I do this all the time, but until someone does this back to me, and I actually had doubts in the middle, because I was like, well, she's not actually listening to what I'm saying. She's just jumping in to fill the gap so that she could feel comfortable. Because we all suffer from long silence, right? She jumps in to fill in the gap. She talks non-stoppable. And you may find out next time, they're gonna still do whatever they're gonna do. They're not actually listening to you. Next time when you do this, when you're saying yes, when you're agreeing on someone too soon, try to slow down and try to hold up your nodding. and really paying attention to the conversation and allow this uncomfortable silence, allow this gap in between, because that's a normal rhythm for a conversation. The fifth practice, which is an advanced one, is to state your honest opinions first in a discussion or a meeting. Just try to picture the scenario. Well, in a meeting, and the host asked some question, and they were hoping to get feedbacks or questions from the crowd. And what you would do is that you would try to avoid eye contact. You would try to avoid being the center of the spotlight. If you are the last one to speak, you get to observe the crowd and you get to observe what opinions they have, and you would choose to agree on them, because you have no idea what your opinions are and you have no idea how you feel about something, because you don't know, you're not sure if that's correct, that's right to have this feeling or have this opinion. A lot of people pleasers, we are extremely externally focused, which means that we are so disconnected from ourselves, from our emotions and feelings, that we have to rely heavily on others for this feedback. If they're hungry, then it's okay, I'm hungry. If they are sad, well, I wanted to cheer them up. I take responsibility for that. But one thing you're missing here is that how you feel. Do you feel hungry? Do you feel sad? Do you have this capacity to comfort someone right at this moment when you're not sacrificing your own needs? So when we are attached to others, when we are desperately trying to please others, to win their approval and validation over, we lose ourselves. We create this vicious cycle of low self-esteem because we hate it when we do this. But there's no way we can find who we are by ourselves. The first step is to really spend time by yourself, to know yourself, to get to know your body, to get to know your identity, to get to know your thoughts. What's your opinion on something? What's the value imposed on you? How you feel about something? What's your honest opinion? Just try to remove all those mental judgments that you have going on. Just try to remove the fact that you have to see yourself through someone else's eyes. Losing touch with yourself is the scariest thing, because in the long term, it damages your self-esteem. And I have dedicated a video to talk about this, the danger of being a people pleaser. You can actually check it out later if you're interested. I'm gonna put it here. But what I wanted to say is that just try to practice having a stand. Try to practice having your own opinions. Maybe firstly, you don't have to say it out loud, but you can hold it in your mind. Next time, try to state it in a smaller crowd. Maybe sometime after that, you get to speak in front of a lot of people in a meeting, in a discussion. But take this step by step. You don't have to scare yourself first with this intimidating consequence. You can start and modify those exercises by yourself and curate your own list in a step, in a rhythm that's comfortable for you, so that you have more compassion for yourself, to allow yourself through this process gradually. Alright everyone, I hope this video is helpful. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you wanted to see more videos like this, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.